Hey everybody, welcome to the first episode of Paradise Pump, bodybuilding in Hawaii. And we have a special guest today, Chad Owens.
Let's go.
Right on, brother. We also have my other two co-hosts. We have Mel.
IFBB Pro in women's physique, NPC judge and head expediter for Hawaii. And we also have Chad.
Been personal training for probably like 10, 12 years. Prior Navy, got into personal training, been doing it for about 10, 12 years. I've been here for what, 5? Yeah, and I've trained everybody for about every single thing I can think of. So, yeah.
And absolutely loves the Jets.
Yeah, and unfortunately, loves the Jets.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pain and suffering. He loves pain and suffering. Anyway, yeah, and I am Mark Hinolio. I am the owner of Iron Hawaiian Fitness. Been running the gym for about 13 years now. Used to be a competitive bodybuilder. Did a lot of NPC shows, amateur, national level shows, and yep. So now I'm here running this gym, and this is the first one, you guys. And we're going to talk to Chad today. We're trying to just ask him a couple questions. You know, Chad is a competitive bodybuilder now. He used to play professional Canadian football. So we're just trying to find out, how is it going from football to bodybuilding and living in Canada and now back home living here?
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, thanks for having me on. This is, the first episode, so super stoked to be the first guest here. But yeah, man, I think my football journey was, it was a dream come true, right? It's what I set out to do since being a little kid. And, I was pushed and motivated by doubt, adversity, all those things that was against me, being a smaller athlete. I literally had to fight and prove myself daily. Like that's sort of my makeup, that forced me to kind of, get that work ethic and the willingness to do the things that others weren't doing. And I'm thankful for the road that I took, and so through all of that, making it into the professional ranks as a football player, playing as long as I did, and now this year being inducted into the Canadian Football League Hall of Fame, it's yeah, thank you. That's it's like icing on the cake. But with all of that being said, I think that preparation and the mindset that it requires to be a pro football player, pro athlete, I think is helping me as I've transitioned into the sport of bodybuilding, which you all know requires discipline, dedication, consistency, kind of all the things that's required to be a pro football player or pro athlete, period. So, I'm excited. I'm super competitive. I've always had a purpose coming into the gym. I had to lift weights as a football player to get stronger, and there was a purpose behind it. And so, when I was done playing, back in 2018 was my last year playing competitively. I was like, man, I still want to work out. I still enjoy it. But, it's like I wanted to have that purpose still when I show up here.
I see.
And so that's why I got into bodybuilding.
Okay. So how many shows have you done so far?
I've done 2021 Sean Ray, 2022 Sean Ray, 2023 Masters USA. So that's 3 shows. Still very, very early.
Acknowledge the fact that this guy was the overall winner for 2022.
That's right.
Sean Ray.
That's right.
Overall
You did win it
winner.
over.
I just kind of skimmed past that, but
No. Gotta acknowledge credit where's credit's due, man. Congratulations
Yeah.
to that as well too. So, what show did you know? Oh, I got the stage bug bit you.
I think it was the first one. In 2021, it was at the Waikiki Shell outside. I didn't go in it. Yeah, you go into these things as a competitor wanting to win, but I was like, okay, this is my first experience, and I got there. It's like a whole new experience for me. Backstage, all these guys. Like, I was like, man, what am I doing? I'm like I'm sort of following guys. I'm like, all right, so he's doing that. So let me start pumping up right now. It was sort of new.
I remember seeing you there actually.
Oh,
you weren't training here yet.
No, not
I
yet.
was like, oh, Chad's doing the show. And I was like, "Oh, what's up, man?" Because we weren't. Yeah, I mean, I knew you. We knew each other already, but we didn't talk that much. And I remember seeing you there, and then you did look kind of confused.
Yeah, I was
I was like, first show, I could tell.
I was trying to just like latch on to people that looked like they knew what they was doing.
Yeah.
You know, it was my first show. My posing wasn't all that great, but man, I was up there smiling, enjoying myself. And you know, it was after that show. I think I placed like third and fourth or something.
Yeah, not bad.
And I was like, all right, so I like this. I want to get better because I'm a competitor. And I'm like, okay, what gym are you at? What gym are you at? Iron Hawaiian Fitness. Shoot, man, I got to get back. I got to get over there. So then I joined Iron Hawaiian Fitness, and the game has changed for me because being surrounded by, you know, this energy, this environment, just sort of, you know, got me more sort of excited about the sport.
All right. So compounding on that, what was the difference from the previous gym or exercising or what have you in comparison to coming to Iron Hawaiian Fitness? What was so special about this place that you can distinguish from the rest?
I think it was. I mean, I was training at UFC gym before. You know, nothing wrong with it. Hey, you know, I still put in work. You know, no matter where you are, you still got to put in work. But I think it was the community. You know, it was the other athletes in here, the coaches. You know, obviously Mark, the ownership. Like, just you want to show up. You want to come. So when I played football, I loved showing up to work. You know, I love going to the locker room because like. It was like you chit chatting with your homies. You're enjoying what you're doing. So anything you do, if you're not enjoying it, enjoying the process, man, it's tough. You shouldn't be doing it. So coming here, I really enjoy. This is like locker room. You know, it's like over here, this table. You know, we get to chop it up. You know, in between sets, maybe. You know, it was good conversation, good energy, and I learned a lot about how to lift, how to bodybuild, how you know. So my knowledge got, you know, got more in this place.
So then, like, that's interesting. So that the knowledge, when you started bodybuilding, like, where did you get your knowledge from? Did you just say, "Hey, I know how to lift weights. Let me get in there," or did you watch a video? Did you read a book? Did you talk to somebody? How was that?
Well, that's kind of it, right? I mean, I was like, I understand lifting weights.
Yeah.
And you know, I've had a background. I've been lifting weights since I was 14.
Okay.
You know, but it was all for performance, like football and explosive and
Right.
moving weight fast and, you know, power.
Which is harder?
Which is, you know, it can be harder. Like it's.
Which one do you think? They're training for the performance and stuff or training for cosmetics?
I enjoy cosmetics. I enjoy building a physique and sculpting out. I've always wanted to do that, but I couldn't because it's not what you look like. It's what you do on the football field, you know? So I needed to train for that. I needed to be explosive, needed to be strong. I prided myself on strength. Like I'm pretty damn strong for my size and I've always had that. But you know, we talk about in bodybuilding things I'm learned, you know, it's about time under tension, controlling the weight. How well can you control and squeeze and isolate technique? You know, it's like not just on a bench press, just like repping it out. Yes. So that's kind of the biggest difference. And when you start to understand those things, you start to see these changes, you know, and you get more excited.
Okay. So do you have a lot of workout partners? Do you just kind of do it solo? Like what's that about?
Oh, I think it's I do both. You know, I lift alone just because of my schedule sometimes, but you know, I enjoy lifting in a group, especially if it's a group that, you know, with guys that are better than me, guys that are, you know, just as eager or their mindset is like, man, trying to be a pro, or maybe they are a pro. I just love that type of energy, you know. Yeah. I don't want to necessarily always be the one leading the pack, you know, because you kind of top out in a way. I'm trying to get elevated. So, you know, I like being around different people who can elevate me in the gym, that can push me, that understand how to spot me, that understand how to get that extra 1, 2, 3 reps out of me. Right. You know what I mean? When you're by yourself, you push and you think you're pushing hard, but it's a difference when you're in a group and with people that, get that a little bit extra out of you. And to me, that's the difference, and that's where you really win.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Do you have, what are your long-term goals? I mean, obviously I'm assuming you're trying to turn pro. That's what everybody wants. But what's your next goal? What's your long-term goals?
Well, in the sport of bodybuilding, yeah, I mean, I definitely, the pro card is something, it's an achievement, right? It's the next level of achievement for me. It's a goal that I'm setting out for myself that gives me the purpose when I show up, that gives me the purpose when I'm eating all these 6 meals a day and the same thing every day and all this water, the cardio. That's the discipline part. That's, to me, that's the hard part. I just like the food. When I played football, I was not eating 6 meals a day.
Oh yeah.
I was just getting whatever I could in me. Like, it's whatever,
Oh, you weren't concerned about eating.
I didn't count calories. I didn't really, because you gotta think, man, I was running pretty much miles every day as a receiver, route after route after route after route after route. So, man, I was smashing carbs. I probably wasn't getting enough protein. I'm gonna be honest with you. Now that I'm eating the amount of protein that I am now, I was not getting that amount of protein in me throughout my day as a professional football player. Okay. And I think that's something that I think they're probably a lot better now. The athletes are probably more conscious of the diet side now. But I still don't think they're counting calories. They're not counting their macros. They're not trying to hit certain macros throughout the day. But
I mean, do you think that it would benefit them? Like, do you think the professional athletes could be benefit if they actually follow more of a structured diet, or you think they're fine just eating?
You know what? I'm gonna be honest. This is the honest truth. Whatever works for you, works for you. There's guys at the professional level that are the best in the league, best in the game. They eat like shit.
Yeah.
They don't work out.
You've seen it. You watch it.
They don't stretch. Yeah. They don't do the things that you think they should be doing, but it doesn't matter. They're out there fucking making plays. They're making plays. That's all that matters. So that works. But in the bodybuilding world, if you do that, you're not getting called out. You're not, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not going to happen. So that's why the discipline in this game is a lot harder. That's the harder part.
Yeah, for sure. Because genetics can carry you to a certain level in this sport. And I've seen it. And then there's a point where, okay, you're just going to reach a certain spot, and now you got to do everything, because there's always going to be somebody coming up who's better, who has genetics, and he's working hard, and he's eating his meals. So that gets exposed real quick in this game. Yeah, that's right. And so, so getting back to the question, sorry so long, but yeah, so I do have a show at the end of August, in Pittsburgh. So North Americans, that's coming up 10 and a half weeks now. So super excited about that. And as far as, long term, man, like I'd love to be able to help, and I'm currently doing some of it now, helping people change their lifestyle, especially here in Hawaii, because, we're pretty up there in, like, diabetes, high blood pressure, some of those, and it's pretty, the food is good here. I mean, people are eating good. So, I'd love to be able to help people out in that regard. And, but yeah, like, I'm a sort of go with the flow kind of guy. Like, I guess I'm more of a short-term goal achiever. And I like to kind of just keep winning, keep stacking up those daily wins, and we kind of see where it goes. You know what I mean? Day by day.
Day by day,
Day by day. Yeah.
So this year I've been manifesting, hey, I get this pro card in Pittsburgh. Shoot, I'm competing at the Sean Ray this year as a pro. Like, because he's got pro men's physique this year. So I'm like, hey, that could happen. That could really happen.
That'd be awesome.
And so that's kind of a short-term sort of goal and something that I'm trying to manifest. And, but
didn't you do some MMA before or something? I'm gonna bring it out because I train jiu-jitsu, so I remember somebody said, "Oh yeah, you did MMA." I never saw you fight or anything, but just kind of curious about that.
Yeah, it was at the peak of my football career, so it's crazy. So in 2012, I was the league MVP. Well, they called it MOP, most outstanding player, but basically the MVP of the league that year. And that very next like off season, I was like, man, like I want to do something different energy system training. So I got into MMA. And I was at the UFC gym in town, you know, Scott Junk, got with him, and we're training. And like, man, I got really good really fast because I was all into it.
Yeah.
I was all in.
Training every
I've
day.
had martial arts background from as a kid. You know, I did some stuff. I've always had a little boxing background because I love my dad kind of put that on me. So I was, you know, pretty good with my hands. And you combine that athleticism, a little bit of knowledge, you know, and shoot, man, I'm pretty good at this. I wanna put this, you know, because I'm so used to practicing, preparing, and then competing.
Right.
That's just been my whole life, right?
Yeah,
I'm like, shoot,
yeah.
where's the game day? Like,
Uh-huh.
I'm ready.
Mhm.
So I got into the Destiny card, and but that place was lit.
Was it?
Oh, they said it was the biggest crowds that they've had in
Oh my
years.
God, that's awesome.
Years.
Do you have a video?
Go ahead and YouTube it. Like
You
it's
do?
it's on there.
Okay.
You can
Yeah,
YouTube
I'll
it. Chad Owens
Yeah, I
MMA.
never-
Yeah. Go watch it.
All right. And you won.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
there you go. All right. There you go.
Yeah, man. I wanted to do it again the next week, but I couldn't. The coaches of the Argos and the GM was like, they were tripping. Like, man, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah.
So well, I'm trying to get this contract,
Right.
you know?
Right.
So I got the contract. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
That's awesome.
no more MMA. That's what they said.
One and done.
One and done.
Okay.
It was a successful one and done though.
Oh yeah.
He ended on a good note.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It's all right.
I got a question, Chad, because I know you went NFL and then CFL. Now you're doing bodybuilding. What was the mindset transitioning? Like, you know, you're in the NFL for a little bit. What was there? How do I say it? Did you look at it negatively when you had to go to play in Canada, or were you had the mindset of maybe this is not where I'm supposed to be? This is the path I'm supposed to take. I'm going to go and I'm going to make the best out of this. Because some people, that would probably crush them, you know, to be in the NFL and then have to go up to Canada, even though, you know, not knocking or anything. I'm just saying some people's mindsets, they wouldn't look at it positively. Right.
Yeah.
And you go from that to bodybuilding. So what was the mental transition you had to make to get the best out of it?
Man, great question. So I think the mental battle was when I was in the NFL actually, and you know things just weren't working out. Like, you know, it just wasn't working out, and I couldn't figure out why. I couldn't put my finger on it, but it's, you know, after looking back, it's like I got a little pressure. You know, I've never had pressure throughout my whole college career. Things just happened naturally here. I was, you know, making plays, not even thinking. So that was a problem. I got there, started to think, I started to overthink, and it affected my play, you know, especially in the game days. Like it's a crazy amount of pressure that's there when you feel like, you know, they're watching and they're waiting for you to make a mistake. That's basically what they're doing. They're waiting for you to make a mistake, right? I had to prove that I could do it. So it's like they're waiting. And I did it, man. I did it every day in practice. Bro, when I say my rookie year, I probably should have been starting as a receiver. I'm not even lying. I should have been starting as a receiver on the Jacksonville Jaguars team. I mean, I was, based on what I was doing in practice, what I was seeing some of the other, you know, guys doing and my ability, but they weren't ready. They weren't quite ready for what I brought at that point. In, you know, 2005, that really wasn't a thing yet, like that slot receiver. You see it all day now. Every team's got one.
Yeah.
So it was just, they didn't know what to do with that. I was strictly return guy. And unfortunately, it didn't work out for me in the NFL. And so I actually had to go to the Arena League first.
Oh, okay.
I had a quick stint in 2008 in the Arena Football League with the Colorado Crush. And I got there and I was legitimately crushing it. Like,
oh yeah,
every game, instant, like, making plays, kickoff returns, receiving, like untouchable. When I say I was untouchable, I was untouchable. I was a man on a mission to prove myself, and I was determined I was going to get back to the NFL.
okay.
In the very last game that I played, it was a playoff game. I fucking tear my ACL.
Oh boy.
And what's crazy is that, yeah, sorry, I swore because I was kind of brought back and I was like,
No, it's
pissed.
all good, man.
So
It's all good.
So on a play before, I was like, man, my hamstring's a little kind of weird feeling. And you know, the hamstring's a huge component in ACL security. And I was like, I can go. So they scored. So I went back out there to do the kick return off the net. I don't know if you guys ever watch indoor football, but
I played.
So off the net, get it, attacking the middle, and you know, but I did something different this time that I've never done. I did like this setup where it's like this little skip, pause, and when I went to plant, I wasn't at ground level yet, so my leg got straightened out, and it just went.
You felt it.
That's all I felt. Instantly, I dropped, fumbled the ball, and this like it literally felt like my knee, like just went way to the wall. Like the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. So tore my ACL in 2008, and the worst part about this, I don't know a lot of people know this either. The very next day in the training room, I'm on the table. I'm just like, man, why did this happen? I was literally on my comeback. My agent calls me. He's like, man, CO, how you doing, man? Man, I didn't want to tell you this, but the Atlanta Falcons had a contract offer for you. Fuck.
Oh, damn.
Oh.
Bro, that stung. So Mike Smith was our defensive coordinator in Jacksonville. He ended up becoming the head coach in Atlanta. So no, there was a connection there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I had a contract. I was this close at that point to get another opportunity back in the NFL, building more confidence, doing what I was doing in the Arena League. I was ready, and then a setback. And yeah, I mean, I got back from the ACL. I never had another chance in the NFL. Actually, not right away. So it was in 2009 when I went to Canada. I didn't even know what the CFL was. Had no idea. So, you know, you talking about transition, mindset. It was like, I was like, okay, I'm going to go to the Arena League. I'm going to do this. I'm back in the NFL because that's where I feel belong. Term ACL. So then that just sort of like, bro, that brought me down to like this level of depression and, man, like, I don't know what's going to happen. And, you know, I went back to work. So Mark, this is when I really started to learn about my body. It was in 2008. I started to learn more anatomy, how things work, how everything was connected. I really dove into that. And so I came back from the ACL, you know, ended up in Montreal because they had my rights in 2009. Then in 2010, ended up in Toronto. And kind of, balled out. And I shared this with you, Hodge, before. I balled out in 2010. I was a special teams player of the year in Canada. And I had a chance to go back down and sign with the Jets.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. I went for a workout. Absolutely killed it. I was at my all-time highest confidence. I was ready. But that was the year I shared this with you. The lockout was looming.
Yeah.
The NFL lockout was looming. There's always something.
Right.
Always something, right? And they didn't offer me. They offered me zero signing bonus. It was like no money up front. Hey, just come in, get a spot, work for it. And then I was like, okay, let's do it. But before I could sign that contract, Toronto, wait. Don't sign anything. We have this offer for you. And at the time, man, I had 3 kids. I was like, I needed money.
Okay.
So they offered me, Canadian, I think it was like $150,000 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fuck. And I was like,
Nice, I mean, yeah.
So thought about it. Next day, I was like, all right, let's go back to Toronto. That was my decision.
Okay.
I don't have a whole lot of regrets in life. But this is one of the decisions I made that I think about still today a little bit. It's like, man, what if I'd have just tried it? Because I always could have came back or went back to the CFL. I know that opportunity would have always been there for me. So, you talk about mindset, transitions. It was tough. It was tough. But, we're always faced with tough decisions. And you never know, regardless of what decision you make, you're always going to be like, oh, what if I did that instead? Oh, what if I did that? you just got to make the decision and make the best of every opportunity. And that's what I did. And, you know, in the end, it worked out for me. You know what I mean? I'm a CFL Hall of Famer, and, you know, now I'm bodybuilding, and I still got all my limbs. I'm still, you know, in pretty decent shape after having a 14-year pro career. So, yeah, man.
So you're happy where you're at now?
Yeah. I mean,
see, that's my point. Like you went through
know,
all that, and then you get here and you're happy here, and that's good.
Yeah, no, I'm happy, but, you know, it's like when you think about the dedication over a long, you know, pro career of that length, you would think, man, financially you're set, you're good.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's not the case with me. You know what I mean? It's not. It's just not. The CFL didn't provide me financial freedom. It provided me a means of living, getting paid, doing what I love, to take care of my family throughout that time. But, man, the difference between the NFL and the CFL is a lot of zeros.
Oh yeah.
A lot of zeros. So
I'm sure it's a big thing.
It's you know, so it's that's the hardest part for me. You know, if I think about it, you know, I was like, man, all the time I spent there, I'm happy. I have all these accolades, I have all these accomplishments, but like the financial sort of freedom and security, it's like just that part, you know, didn't happen.
All right, so being that said, financially, we already know that bodybuilding doesn't pay, right? Well, unless you're like top 10,
you pay more than you get paid,
or some kind of influencer. So for it to become your passion project, what do you like? Back to Mark's question, what are you trying to get? What, not trying to get out of it, but what do you want to get out of it?
Yeah, you know, I think you know, right now I'm in this space of, you know, I'm like a public figure. I'm doing a bunch of different things, but like fitness and sports and kind of that line that's been my life. I love this. So definitely an avenue to carve out with, like, maybe, you know, online coaching or you know, things in that line, trying to monetize, you know, there. But yeah, it's not a $1 million like financial freedom type of deal either. But, you know, I've come to realize also that, look, man, money doesn't guarantee happiness. You know what I mean? So for me, it's like I am happy with what I'm doing now, the things I'm able to do now. My kids are all healthy. You know, my son's at UH playing football. My daughters are thriving. You know, my wife is healthy. Like, we're in a good spot. Yeah, maybe financially we're not where we want to be, but to me, that still gives me like that hunger, that grind, sort of like hustle mentality still, you know, and that's kind of what I'm doing. That's kind of who I am. So, you know, with the whole bodybuilding thing, it's just a piece of what I'm doing. You know, it's in the fitness industry, and today the fitness industry, I think it's blown up, but it's still growing.
Yes.
And I want to sort of help be a part of continuing to blow it up here in Hawaii. That's why with this podcast, you know, being a place of community for the bodybuilding community of Hawaii, you know, kind of want to just play a role in that, you know. So I mean, and also just for a lot of these kids, we have a ton of athletes coming out of Hawaii, and man, only a small percentage is going to go on to play pro.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, look, you can always transition, you know, into bodybuilding. You can always transition into something here that you can stay competitive. And, you know, I hope to continue to just inspire that way as well.
Yeah. No, this is great. Yeah. So how does your family look at it? Like, you know, I'm going to be a bodybuilder now. Like, how does your family think of it? You know, your wife, like, what are they all thinking about it?
You know, I don't know. Maybe they thought, all right, dad's done playing football. Now we can have more of his time. I haven't really had a conversation with them about it. It's like I'm still like doing me. You know what I mean? I'm still like competing. So I don't know. That's a great question. That's something maybe I need to ask them.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you guys know Rena, like she's been competing. She's kind of, so it's something that we get to do together.
Right.
And we enjoy it. And with that, we're just trying to we're just always continuing to try to be examples for our kids. So man, fitness, whether you're bodybuilding, lifestyle, whatever, fitness, lifting weights is needed for good health. Period. Like you need to build muscle, you need to be strong, you need to be moving. Like,
oh, besides all of that, there's so much discipline that you can learn it, or life lessons in the discipline of bodybuilding, that you can translate to the rest of your life, So that's why I think bodybuilding or weightlifting, exercising, getting out there and moving is so important, not staying sedentary and, wasting away. So being that you and your wife are competitors, how does that dynamic work? Some couples, they need to either have one or the other, not necessarily both of them
together,
competing at the same time. What was that experience for you guys?
For us, I think because we went in, I challenged her last year, 2 years ago now, when we both turned 40. Hey, we're turning 40. Let's go into our 40s doing a competition together. Like, let's do this, So I challenged her and she accepted, and doing it together it brought us closer, the support for each other throughout the process. It worked because, we've been together since we were 12 years old. I mean, this is kind of crazy.
Really?
Right?
That's
We're 42
sweet.
now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we've been together since we were 12. So it's like
Crazy.
we've already been through the ringer and the roller coaster of the relationship, and we've weathered the storms, and I think going through a prep, it was like, oh, this is nothing. This is easy. We've been through worse than this. So but now, like, I'm in prep by myself, because she's taking a break right now, and so she's just eating any kind and whatever, it's just like
what she wants.
And she seems really happy,
Oh yeah, it's nice when you can eat.
No, I think it's good, man. Like, it works for some people though, but I've heard for some other couples it doesn't work. It pulls them apart. So, but again, even with that, just for couples listening to this, like, you guys take that, and that's a learning experience for your relationship. Like, all right, now you don't do prep together. You move forward. If you guys broke up because of it, I'm sorry. You guys, maybe it just wasn't meant to be. But it's the prep life is different. But just kind of getting back to what you were saying, Mel, about bodybuilding, kind of creating disciplines. If you're someone that maybe didn't grow up in sports, because sports kind of gives you that prerequisite, the discipline, the showing up to practice on time, teamwork, consistency. It gives you a lot of those foundational tools it's required. So if you didn't have that background, I think weight training and being in a gym is a great way to start to establish some of those things in your daily routine, and you're going to start to notice. That's why lifestyle people, they just start to feel so much better about themselves, because they're like, man, and I got this routine. I'm feeling good. I'm eating good. I'm exercising.
Look good, feel good.
I look good. Yes, like, you look good, you feel good. Like, that's true. I encourage everyone to start bodybuilding.
Or just working out. In general.
Whatever.
Lifting weights.
Have to get closer.
In general, lifting weights. So as far as, and you said meal prepping and all that, like, who does all that stuff? Do you do all your own meal prepping, or does your wife do it? Or
when we were in prep together, she was prepping a lot of the things, cooking, and we were bagging things up and making, but she's allergic to chicken and certain things. Like, so I was eating pretty much different proteins than she was.
Oh, wow.
It was a totally different, like, schedule, but now I cook for the most part, my proteins. She helps me out a lot by prepping the rice. That's my main carb, so hey, she cooks the rice.
Carb of Hawaii.
I love the way you cook my rice, babe. Thank you.
Thanks for cooking his rice.
In the rice
made
cooker.
with love. That's why.
That's it. I can't get it right. I tell her, man, I can't get it right. I don't know how to do it.
It's the water rice ratio. You got to have the right. Do you do the little finger test? Is that what you do?
Yeah, the line on your finger
you don't do the line on
test.
finger.
I don't know. I could never.
Nah. Yeah.
I like the way it comes out when she makes it.
Yeah.
So,
It's
I
all
gotta have her do
special.
it.
It's all special when she makes it. That's
But
good.
yeah, man, but that's I'm gonna take that question even further. I know a lot of people, they make their food, right? They have all their protein, carbs, veg, whatever, and they prep it all. They put in their meals. It's already made.
Right.
The way I do it, because I don't like eating fish warmed up again the next day.
Mm-hmm.
That's just one of the things I can't do.
Mm.
So I cook my chicken in a big batch. I cut it all up, put it in a big gallon Ziploc bag, rice in the bag, veggies in the bag. And when I'm ready to eat, I pull that stuff out, weigh it out, do my thing, warm it up, boom. That's how I do it. And every night I cook my salmon fresh.
Okay.
That's how I like to do it. And obviously, in the morning I got to cook my eggs, and pre-workout meal is made right there on the spot, post-workout meal. So I'm not really, the only thing I prep is meal 4 and 5 out of the 6 meals.
Okay. Wow. That's pretty good. Do you have food allergies at all, or you can eat anything you want?
I can eat anything. Yeah. No food allergies. So pretty lucky there. But yeah, I'm kind of in a zone right now, Mark. It's like people that are tuning in here, that are bodybuilders, they understand it. People that don't, and not bodybuilding, eating all this food, that's a chore. That's hard.
It's a job in itself.
It's a job.
Yeah.
It's part of being a bodybuilder, especially if you're wanting to turn pro or get your pro card. It's all of the little disciplines that you have to maintain to stay consistent on. You already know you cannot leave any stone unturned. You talked about your first debut of posing in comparison to your posing now. How many hours of just posing alone had you had to do to perfect what you have now? And you could always still learn, right? You cannot leave any stone unturned in this sport because it shows up on the stage.
Yeah. And you're probably this way too, Mel. Like, if my rice needs to be 300 grams of rice, I'm not doing 299. I'm not doing 301. I'm doing 300. Like I'm on the spot.
Yeah.
Because there's a compound, right? If you keep short, or a little over time, that's it's probably minute, but that's just me, right? I'm a detailed guy. I want to be precise, and I want to leave no stone unturned. So, that's what's required. So that's the hard part, is eating all the food, and it's something that the body has to get used to. But now, where I'm at now, I'm cutting. And I'm in a zone. My metabolism is firing. Right now, I'm sweating my ass off, just sitting here.
It's warm
but
in this gym.
But that's just because the metabolism is just firing.
That's right.
And I'm in a place right now that I'm okay. I'm okay with this because I'm cutting. I'm good.
While we're on the subject of what your body needs in preparation for all of this, tell us your take on the importance of rest and recovery. Mobility, exercising. I know you had a few injuries, so walk us down that path a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, what I've learned, again, I'm always learning, right? So bodybuilding, first of all, you're not building muscle in the gym, right? You build muscle when you rest, when you eat, when you recover, when you sleep. So just note that, right? This is where you get to break your body down, but then you rebuild it when you repair it and recover and do all those things and eat, and being hydrated and all of that. Mobility work, pre-workout work, I spend about 15 minutes easy before I start every day of training. I'm sweating before I even start because I've got a torn labrum in this shoulder. All the years of football, I've had 3rd-degree AC sprains, and my shoulders are pretty jacked up, but I stay on top of it. I get my rotators going, external rotator. Get my shoulders all warmed up. I've got a full routine of mobility and pre-workout stuff that I do. But I'm used to that. I actually do less now than I did when I was playing football. Man, when I played football, I would roll out mobility like probably 20, almost 30 minutes before practice. Like, it's crazy. The prep work, to me, is what helps reduce their injury risk. And it helps with maximizing your workout. And then when you're done, the recovery, the stretching, the rolling out soft tissue work after, the massages, whatever you need to do to recover, also helps.
Yes.
So we're unraveling more layers to this game, right? It's like, oh, lifting, eating. Oh, wait, now you got to do all of that. Wait, massage or shoot, I can't fit that in my day.
Well, you know, it's interesting because I see you come in here and I do watch you and you do a lot of warm-ups. I'm watching you, man. And you do a lot of warm-ups, you know, I'm checking it out. And and you know, typically traditional bodybuilders, especially when you go back to my era, you know, 80s, 90s, a lot of bodybuilders, we didn't do a lot of warm-ups. I mean, it was kind of like you show up with the sweatshirt on, tank top, you just kind of get in the gym, you just kind of move around a little bit. You can move like move the bar a couple times. Okay, stretch. All right, put some weights on, go. Like that's typical old school bodybuilding, man. I mean, that's how we did it. And then you might do a little stretch after when you're done, like, oh, I'm tight. Okay, we're good. Is very little. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. And this is why I got, you know, I started getting injuries.
So Mark's basically telling me like, Chad's doing it.
No, I'm like, what is he
Guy's
doing?
wasting
all this.
He's wasting energy.
He's got so much. He's spending so much time over there. We got a little stretcher, you know. I'm watching him. I'm like, dude, get in here already, bro. Let's go, dude. But no, I get it because I would watch him and I'd be like, oh, you see, you can tell the difference of someone that comes from a sports background. You know, you're an athletic background. You can tell, like, this guy was high performance athletics. I can see it. I see you do all your warm-ups and I'm like, okay, yeah. And I'm watching you going, wow, that's cool. Because most bodybuilders, they won't do that. They will not do all those dynamic warm-ups. They really won't. They'll do a quick little 2-minute, boom, we're done. We're moving on. So it's interesting to me. And, you know, it reminds me every time. Because when I see it, I go, I should really do that. I should. And I still don't. Once in a while. I'm so bad at it because I've never done it. But I need to do it now because I've gotten injuries, you know, the last few years because of that. Because I got away with it for a long time, I have to say. I was able to train for years and I was good. And then things started happening and muscles started getting tight. And, you know, and I wasn't stretching enough. And yeah, so I was like, oh, okay.
Well, being that said, we are getting a little bit older there.
Come on. You know, I never think about that until it happens. Until I get injured, then I go, well, okay, maybe I am a little older. But in my mind, I'm just not trying to face that. You know what I mean? I'm just like, I can just do it.
So coming from your older age in comparison to like he's probably a decade younger than you.
A little bit more than that.
A little bit more than that. Okay,
yeah,
well, do you think doing all of those drills, warm-ups, mobility, exercises is a good thing? That you recommend these younger generations of guys to incorporate, you think?
Oh, totally. Yeah.
I mean, it's about longevity.
Thank you.
I
yes.
agree. It's
longevity. He's got it right. I mean, he's doing good. Yeah. I just created a habit of never doing it. So it's for me to do it, I have to create another habit. And you have to realize I've been lifting weights for like 35 plus years. So I have to remind myself, oh, I should go do that. Okay. You know what I mean? Because most of the time I just get in there. I'm like, all right, let me go.
But you do jujitsu as well, too. Don't you have to be
in jujitsu, though? I do warm up in jujitsu.
Oh, okay.
But I'm even bad in that. Sometimes I'll go and I'm just like,
don't
I'll
take
sit
his.
there. Yeah, and I'll sit there and I'll be like, kind of sitting around, like, when are we gonna start going, man? Let's go, you know. And then I get a warm up though when we're practicing.
Right.
That's kind of when I warm up.
Yeah.
In our practice, and then by the time we roll, it's like an hour later. I'm good, right?
Right.
So yeah, I've never been great at doing the warm up stuff, you know, but I know he is. So it is very important, and I always, stretching and warming up is super important.
Yeah.
So.
And yeah, I mean, with that, I gotta credit my football career and my sports background because that was, but here's the thing though, even when I played, not everyone did it.
Okay.
Not everyone did all the extra pre-workout, rolling out, soft tissue mobility. Like, I was kind of like in training camp, all these guys were like, "Oh, Chad, what's that for? What's that for? What are you doing there?" So guys would just follow me and start to like do what I do. And I had this whole pre-workout, pre-practice warm-up routine that all the guys, all the receivers, we'd all do it, and I would lead them because I was like, man, this is a long game, man. You want to be healthy. It's a long season. You got to take care of your body, you know? So even in bodybuilding, it could seem that like, man, I'm not running, I'm not doing anything explosive, but there's still so many benefits from fully opening up your joints, warming up your joints, getting mobile, lengthening as much as you can before you get in there, because number one, it just feels good to be nice and warmed up.
Well, on top of that, being immobile, you start producing a lot of unsymmetrical body parts, and this is the art of bodybuilding. So therefore, I feel like it's important to be as mobile as possible, as especially as we age, our joints and all of that stuff starts to deteriorate and you know take a toll on us. So especially now that you do have what people that you're helping, do you instill that same knowledge to them, like, hey, get some good warm-ups in and stuff?
Absolutely. I say, guys, like, and it's the frustrating, you coach, right? So you tell them what to do, you tell them what not to do, and then all of a sudden you get a surprise that, I'm gonna try bench press just because so and so is over here. I was just trying to tweak my shoulder.
Sounds about right.
Man, like flat bench press, barbell bench press isn't in the routine. Like we don't do that. It's just not good for the shoulders.
Ego lifting is not in the routine.
So it's
bodybuilding.
I just want to try. Well, you got to try listening more. No, but it's like, on that note, if you got coaches, hey, listen to what they're telling you, right? Because they've got experience. They have your best interests in mind, and so with that, I think, it's crucial. I pass that along to all my people, lifestyle, a couple guys that I've prepped. It's just, you want them to maximize their potential and kind of do it the healthiest way.
Going back to the whole ego lifting, like, because you needed to do it for a performance, for explosion, and now that you're bodybuilding, how did you have to change your mindset to, we're doing mind-muscle connection, time limit, so on and so forth, in comparison to your explosive lifts?
Yeah, that was a tough transition for me. That was hard. That was harder than I thought, because as a football player, I was like, they have all these charts, like, okay, how do you outdo the numbers? How do you keep getting stronger? How do you, it's all 1 rep max. And like, it's 1 rep. 1 rep, that's to get hurt. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, for sure.
But that was what I did. And yeah, you build some strength, and we didn't do it all the time, but you build overall strength. We had reps of like 5, so it was pretty heavy, like heavy lifting, right? So that kind of builds your ego, right? Because you're used to just lifting,
ground and pound.
Yeah, crazy, heavy, loud, like you're competitive with your teammates. And but bodybuilding, I had to like almost start over. I had to, like, once I figured out that, I got to slow this down. Even this way, I got to slow down. The eccentric and the concentric. Because we were like, maybe, eccentric, but then, you fly that, explode the concentric.
Yeah.
But that's not bodybuilding. It's both ways. How can you squeeze that out and maximize that contraction in every rep? So I had to lighten weight. I had to feel it. I even close my eyes when I'm doing certain exercises to kind of take my mind to that muscle, to get that mind-muscle connection. So this is all a learning curve for me. But once I figured it out, I feel that. Then you start to develop a little bit more. You start to get a few extra lines, and you see shape taking place. You see change, especially in pictures like, last year, this year, wow, that's changed. But I had to sort of drop the ego and just be okay with lighter weight, squeezing it, controlling it, and not caring that it was only X amount of pounds on there.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you do a lot of cardio? I mean, is that in your program at all? Or are you one of those guys that just rely on your diet, lift heavy, we're good?
No, I do cardio. Yeah. So that's another transition that was hard for me, Mark.
Yeah.
Bodybuilding cardio
yeah.
versus the type of cardio that I'm used to.
Yeah.
High interval, sprinting, get the heart rate up. I feel like, man, I need that. You know what I mean? I feel like I need that. But, walking on this treadmill's hella slow, just stair climber, just like, what am I doing right now? I'm just like,
burning calories.
20, 30 minutes, like, okay, I'm breaking a little sweat, but I'm not out of breath at all. You know what I mean? I'm thinking I got to be out of breath or else I'm not doing cardio.
Right.
But so that was probably a bigger learning curve for me, the cardio portion, than the actual lifting. Yeah. I still feel like I want to do something fast, with my feet, and I don't know, I miss it. you know, and I don't have any hit training in my cardio. I want to ask you, Mel, because I know I see it with Tyler, like he has some hit. What's your take on the hit cardio, the steady state cardio? I just want to ask
I
you.
have them incorporate both if they have the energy to expend to do a hit, or if they're in a rush that day because some of the guys they come during the lunch breaks, right?
Yeah.
And they have a limited window, and if it needs to get done, then that's what it takes. However, on other days they got some time, yeah, steady state is fine as well too. For me, I'm not going to tell them, oh, you only can do the stair mill or the treadmill. No, like however you expend your cardio, I give you your parameters and I want you to fulfill it. Don't cheat. It's going to show up on stage. But that's how I prescribe to them what they necessarily need to do. For like some people, they rather just get it done, and it doesn't cost them anything from their workout. They're still kind of young, agile, but for us, we being a little bit older, I don't put my hits with my workout. Me personally, I can't do that anymore. I'm just my body will take a toll if I try to lift weights before or after doing hits. You know,
It'll be more counterproductive.
Yeah, but as far as these young guys who feel like they got the energy to expend, by all means, do it. Get it done. Get it out of your system, because like you had that urge. You're like, I just want to F shit up. Oh, I said the bad word again. Anyway, I want right. You just want to get it done, and just you have that itch to do something and that explosive. And I understand that. Like you came from lifting heavy weights, moving it very quickly, very efficiently. Sometimes, I know people feel the need, like they just want to go in there, smash, and then whatever, get it done and over with, right? So it's kind of hard when you're feeling that urge to do it, but you're like, nah, I'm just gonna connect mind to muscle and slow it down a little bit. I believe like there's a time and place for everything. So say your compound lifts as well too. Yeah, sure, get it done. Lift heavy, lift hard. But all of the other small mind to muscle stuff, you make sure you get that mind to muscle connection. So back to the whole question, doing hits and stuff. Yeah, if they have the energy to expend, sure.
Nice.
Yeah, because I do some hits with
I know you do
clients.
the row. Or you personally.
Oh no, I love doing
rowing
it for myself. Yeah, now I love. Oh, the row's great. I love the row. But for clients, when I have people competing, I like to have a little bit of hits. Sometimes I slowly add them in. It's about 10 minutes only though. So, and I'll include it with their cardio. So it'll be like the beginning of their cardio. So I'll do like 10-minute hits, and then they'll go to their steady state, whether it's treadmill or step mill. But that 10-minute hit, and I'm honestly, it's just like sled. To be honest, that's what I do. I like the weight resistance of that sled.
But it's not a fast pull or anything.
No,
right?
it's they're moving it though. Like they're moving. I usually have them just push, go down. They'll do squats, have them do like 10 bodyweight squats, something like that, and then go back the other way, 10 bodyweight squats, and it's just 10 minutes straight. But it's the whole goal with that is to keep going, keep moving, and there's weight resistance, right? So it's not light like walking. They're actually pushing some weight for 10 minutes. So I like that, because then I think that kind of triggers their muscle a little bit. And then when they get on that cardio, their heart rate's pretty high already.
Right. I was gonna say, I think that kind of sets the tone for the cardio.
Oh yeah.
Because sometimes for me, I'm on the steady state machine, and I don't feel like I'm like 10 minutes in, 15. Then it's like, okay, then I start to maybe feel like it's doing this thing.
Honestly, it takes about 20 minutes for most people who are in condition to get their heart rate to that level.
Right.
You're even starting to even tap into fat.
Right. So you're getting it going, doing that.
Yeah.
And when they hop on that, it's kind of already, the engine's on.
And that's challenging, right? It's not boring, because it's actually challenging because it's weight. So they're being challenged. They're not like, oh, this is monotonous. They're like, this is hard. How much time I got? Wow. And I'm working, And so they're looking forward to that after. They're like, oh, this is
That's
done.
the cool down.
Now I can go on this and, okay, I can relax because they just did smart stuff. Yeah. But I don't have them do the sled every day. But I'll include it, and I'll slowly, as we get closer, I'll add one more day and one more day. And,
Do you think for me, someone like me, like I know, because you have a lot of, do you have your male clients do that too? or mainly like your bikini?
It's a lot of female clients, but I mean, I would recommend it for men. It really depends on the guy, though. Like, I would, not. I don't think everybody needs it. Some guys don't need a ton of cardio. I mean, some guys, the diet, they work their diet, they can do steady state, boring steady state cardio, and they'll be peeled. You know what I mean? So it's kind of a case by case.
Mhm.
I definitely like it for the women because a lot of women, you can't spot reduce. I get it, but they tend to hold fat in their legs. And I tell you what, though, you can't spot reduce, but I do notice a difference in their leg. I don't say development, but just how their legs look when it comes showtime with doing that sled as compared to just never doing it and just doing steady state. I feel like it keeps them a little bit tighter. Almost.
Yeah, it's almost like a finisher.
Yeah, it keeps the legs, their quads, their glutes a little bit tighter because that's a problem I find with steady state, especially walking, especially women bikini, right? They do a lot of walking and especially running. I mean, it's just horrible for glutes. It can flatten out your glute, especially if you're prone to that, right? So you gotta there's a fine line, especially when I'm training bikini girls, there's a fine line of how much walking I want them to do because what is bikini? It's having an ass, like you need to have a round butt. If you have a flat butt on stage, well, you kind of blew it, you know what I mean? So you want to preserve that muscle there, but yet, remove the fat everywhere, right? So there's a fine line I try to do.
Yeah, I don't want to lose my butt, Mark. So
you don't.
I gotta be tight in them board shorts.
The glutes are important.
Glutes are important. So being that said, how you prescribe your steady state to your clients, do you have them hit a specific heart rate or percentage or anything?
No,
because you see a lot of them, they're like, F this, and they just end up like a walk through the park.
Okay, no, that's that is actually, you're right. A lot of people don't push. What I do is say they're walking on the treadmill. I don't let them grab the handles. Don't grab handles. People will do that. They do this thing, and do you do that? No. And they kind of do this. I'm not, to me, I mean, if you're walking outside, you're not holding on to anything. You're just walking. So walk. I also believe in when they're first starting out on cardio, obviously, I'm not going to make them do 15, like incline 15%, which is usually what most treadmills go to. Max. Some will go higher. But I have them start maybe at a 5 or 6, and we're going to work up to that, right? And your pace, have a nice steady pace. I like them to have a nice steady pace. Most people, they're going to do, 2.5 miles for somebody small might be okay, but usually around 3 miles an hour. And they're usually going around, most of them are between 12 to 15 when they're in shape. Yeah. And they're not touching that. Every once in a while, they'll get tired. They'll kind of hold it for a second and they'll release it. And I'm just like, just go. And you're just walking up that hill, and you're feeling it. You're feeling the burn. You should be feeling your glutes should be burning a little bit. Like all of it should be working, right? I don't really, because I feel like if you're going to do cardio, you should be doing cardio and you'll be in shape. Most of the time their heart rate's going to be between probably like 125 to 135 or so, somewhere in that range. Again, I'm not sitting there telling them, make sure, but it usually is. Like if I ever check it, it's usually always around there. Sometimes they go a little higher, right? So maybe drop it down a little bit. Because I like them to be right around there, depending on their age, right? Maybe 125 to about 140 is good to me. If you're older, then it can be even lower. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to go as high. But because I'm just concerned about burning fat, right?
Right.
Burning fat, preserving muscle. Okay.
Right.
So that's it. So that's the goal. Because my thing too, and I've had people say this, which is funny. They'll be like, well, you said do 40 minutes today. And I go, yeah. So I did 20 minutes in the morning and 20 at night. And I'm like,
what's your take on that?
Oh, that doesn't work. Because if it takes 20 minutes for you to warm up,
it's
you
like
just
nothing.
stop before you even started tapping into your fat. You just burned off carbs. You just burned off whatever glucose you had. And then that's it. And you come back at night and you're doing the same thing again. I'm like, no. Why did you do that? Well, I didn't have time, or because it's easier, right? And usually that's the answer. Because it's easier. It's easier to do 20-20 than to go 40 because you're getting tired.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Your heart rate goes up and you're tired and you're feeling it. And then you start to get hungry. That's why. So I'm like, no, you're doing it one time, So that's I don't know. I think I used to kind of underestimate cardio, to be honest. And then years ago, I started kind of doing more of it and seeing it. And I realized, wow, okay, cardio is a huge benefit, but you just have to know how to do it.
Well, it's not just about the body fat dropping. It's to me, it's like heart health,
Heart
right?
health.
It's that's the biggest thing and the reason why I like doing cardio, and and that's why I missed some of the high intensity stuff, because I feel like my heart was being challenged a whole lot more doing that. But so with that being said, for me, like the hardest thing for me with cardio, I'm like with these machines, I'm like, man, what's the best one? Is it the incline? Is it the bike? Is it the stair climber? Like, what's gonna be the best one? And I follow a bunch of people on Instagram, and like I see a lot of them doing the stair climber. It's a lot of treadmill, incline walks. I'm like, man, so would you guys have a recommendation? Like, what would be the most efficient and effective machine?
I mean, we can go around. Me personally, I usually, for bodybuilding, when we're talking about bikini, wellness, bodybuilders, all that, I basically stick with, it's either going to be the step mill or it's treadmill. Those are the ones that I like for those sports, right? For those things. I love the row, but I don't think the row is something that I would recommend for bodybuilding necessarily.
Because it's a little bit too, like, the
it's a
intensity.
little-
You might
the
start
intensity is
dropping a little bit of
high,
muscle.
and
right?
and then you get a lot of arms getting in there, and there's like there's just a lot of stuff that I just feel like I just think that the step and treadmill is just much more effective for bodybuilding and bikini. Those are my two favorites, and those are the ones.
All right. Well,
for years.
let me ask you this: you said the 20 minutes breaking up morning, night, that's no good. But what if you broke up on machines, like 20 minutes on the stair climber, 20 minutes on the walking treadmill,
yeah.
right back to back? That's
just go.
okay.
Your heart rate's still up.
Okay.
I do that sometimes. Some people get bored, right? And they're just like, I can't do it. And then you split them up. They're like, oh, that's not that bad. And you're like, okay, you got it in. Your heart rate stayed steady throughout. You're good. It's why not? So
okay.
Like, what about
you? Got a preference?
What?
Mel?
Go ahead, Jed.
Yeah.
The cardio.
How do you train? Like, what's your preference?
I have a target heart range for at least one of the sessions. So most people, that treadmill is going to carry them away. But once they can't hit it, as they get in better shape, they need to move on to something else. Step mill, elliptical. Now, if they're training for a competition, the rules may be different. But when lifestyle people, it's a little different. Intervals depends. Like if somebody's already pretty lean, they're on low diet, trying to get that last bit off, I'm not going to have them do intervals. I don't. If they do extra cardio sessions, more than one, I will start out with just walking. I was like, don't watch your heart rate, just go out and walk for like 30, 40 minutes. And then if we need to pick it up and start targeting heart rate then, because his body's getting stubborn, then we can ramp it up a little bit. I like to start with the least amount effective and work up. So, I mean, I'm not stuck to one type of cardio, like, because I get different types of people. So I really have to assess what the person's trying to do. Like, for instance, if somebody's in the military and they have to pass the PT test. So like steady, and then they're getting ready for a competition too. Steady state's only going to accomplish one of those things. But if I give them interval training, 15 minutes or so, or for the distance that their PRT run is, with the interval training, it's kind of like the best of both worlds. You're going to get in better shape running over long distances without having to run over long distances. Plus you're going to burn fat and less chance of burning muscle. The way it was explained to me was, imagine you got two cars set next to each other and one's running constantly, one's starting and stopping. The one starting and stopping usually burns more gas, right? So that's just it. So it's dependent on the situation of the person.
As far as myself, I'm kind of in alignment with all of you guys collectively. It depends on use case. If they're just starting their contest prep, of course, you're not going to tell them like, 40 minutes straight off the bat, target heart rate 75% and above. They ain't going to do that. So I like slowly increasing it as we go. And as well, like how Jed said, as soon as you get closer to that, maybe 4 week and everything starts to go on a decline, I don't recommend hits, but hey, like I said, if you could manage to squeeze it in to burn off extra calories, then great. But I don't expect it, especially because you want to maintain muscle preservation, and like your mental awareness and cognition is so declined at about like 4 weeks, 3 weeks out, right? So you want to like keep them from injury and everything else as well too. If there's one specific or any specific one that I like over another, for me, I don't really have I can't say like, oh, this is the best one over the other. The one that you enjoy, as if I was helping you, the one that you enjoy the best. Say you like running at Alamana Beach Park, watching the sun go down, and that's what motivates you to run. hey, then so that's how you're gonna do your cardio versus on a treadmill over here looking out the window. So
Mm.
I want to make sure like everybody, it's a win for everybody.
Yeah, you got to enjoy it, right? You got to be able to enjoy it.
Yeah, that's good.
And I'm on this tip right now where I'm like, I get my cardio, but I'm like, man, I gotta get my 10,000 steps for the day. So like that's like that extra just activity throughout the day, right? Moving. So that's kind of what I'm on right now, making sure I get 10,000 steps plus my, my cardio just got up from 20 to 30. So I got 30 minutes, 6 days a week. So, yeah, time to crank it.
Pretty good, man. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, great hearing the stories, man. There was some stuff I didn't know. So
Yeah, man. Hey,
yeah, there was stuff
you
I
heard it
didn't know.
first on the Paradise Pump.
That's right, Paradise Pump people. Yeah, so awesome. And this is a thing that we do here at Paradise Pump. Is our guests are gonna show us his favorite exercise.
All right, well, shoot.
But
Let me
he's
see.
gonna show us his
But-
favorite exercise.
Before we leave, let everybody know where they can find you at, all of your
Yeah.
socials.
I mean, mainly on Instagram at Chad Owens 2. That's my most active platform. I'm really not on. I mean, I'm on Twitter and other things, but I'm not active on it. But so IG at Chad Owens 2.
Follow his journey.
It'll all be posted in the description too, all
Yeah,
your
man.
stuff. So
Hey,
it's
check
all
out the
in.
website chadowens.co. Get some gear. But no, thanks for having me, man. Episode 1
Great, yes, yeah.
in the books. Let's go.
Episode
Only
one is
going
in the
to get better.
books.
All right, guys.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us, Paradise Pump.
Let's
And we'll
go.
see you again. Aloha.
All right, hey, Chad Owens here again. Just got done with the Paradise Pump podcast, and my favorite exercise to do is this hammer incline press. Because this is been one of my weak points, so I've been focusing a lot on that upper chest, trying to create that upper shelf. And for those of you that don't know, the upper shelf is that top chest to the shoulder, right? So there's a few different ways that I do this. One way is obviously sitting your butt back, right? And as you can see, this angle, it targets that upper chest, all right? But now, sometimes, again, we talk about injuries or things like that. If your shoulder's not feeling in that day, or you want to just switch the angle, you can scoot your butt forward, right? And now you're really under this thing, and now you're getting a little bit higher angle. And I just love the stretch and the squeeze on this particular movement. So typically on this exercise, I'll do one top set of 10 to 12. Obviously this is light right here, 1 plate, but I'll go up to 3 plates, sometimes 4 plates, depending on how I'm feeling for that top set. And then we'll do a back off set, 12 to 15 reps. And,
Are you big on where this exercise is in the workout, or you just do it whenever?
oh, yeah, so great question. So I typically on my first push day, which is Mondays, I like to start with this. I'll actually do a pre-exhaust, maybe a cable fly, just to kind of get some blood in my chest. But my first main movement of my push day is this right here. It sets the tone for my entire push day, and I love it. The pump is crazy. Paradise Pump.